Let's talk about some more predictions, sir. Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Wish you a happy, healthy start to this lovely Tuesday morning over here from a pitch black Helsinki, Finland. It's cold as fuck once again, but that doesn't matter because I got nice warm clothes, and we got plenty to talk about on good old Bitcoin in the short-term time frame, following up from yesterday's short-term and medium-term time frame analysis. So with that said, let's get into the Krown Chain application, which we found at app.krownchain.net, and that's where all the predictions are today. Just kidding, but, well, actually a little bit. Anyways, with that said, into the data we go, and what do we see? So we do see plenty of things going on right now. Now, actually, what I need to do is I need to make sure that I actually am refreshing this page, just in case, as I have been, as I need to make sure that everything is all up to date and good to go, and yes, indeed it is. So what do we see? Bitcoin dominance at just above 61%. So we are seeing Bitcoin actually break out on the short-term time frames right now, but Bitcoin dominance has actually come down from yesterday to today, I do believe. What does that mean? Well, that does mean that we haven't really seen like the major massive breakout level just yet. So with that in mind, I actually would be looking for Ethereum to once again kind of give the lead off signal of to when this market wants to move in, when this market wants to like really get moving actually, as that one has been kind of leading up over this last, let's call it like a couple weeks to a month, leading the markets. And with that in mind, that would suggest that if Ethereum does start legging up, then we should expect the rest of the market too, as this market is still in a rotational sector, with Bitcoin actually not leading right now, but instead Ethereum for the time being. And that can obviously change over time, but at least for right now, I would be looking at it as such. On top of that, we do see that the open interest has actually shot up from yesterday to today. I know that off of memory, we were just below 8 billion yesterday. Now right around 8 billion and in a quarter, 8.25 billion, I should say. My numbers all fucked up today. But most importantly with that, that does suggest that as open interest does go up and price action continues to crawl its way onwards and forwards alongside all of the major signals that we were looking at over the weekend, price action is once again supported and the rally continues. Continuation is the name of the game, at least for now. Looking at the market data tab, I am curious to see how this matches up with actual price action. As you can see right here, yes, that was reaccumulation over the weekend as we predict. Sorry, if you're new here, you wonder what all these fucking predictions are about. Well, today for the price of Bitcoin. Just kidding. I actually have much love for Chris, but it is pretty fucking funny. Anyways, yes, looking at this, the next meme of the market just fucking perturbed everything. Anyways, go check out the funny rate right now too, as that has actually massively changed once again. What in the actual hell is going on right here? We do see that FTX is actually all the way at 0.283. Now you've seen this from yesterday to today change rapidly. I believe yesterday we did see it on the late day wrap up video, about half that, just above the 0.1% threshold, but quite literally at the 0.1% region. Now almost 3 times that actually. Bybit way the fuck out there too at 0.241% region, and we have OKX and Binance both above, albeit very lowly, above that 0.1% region. So we do have a lot of we do have a lot of people paying a lot of money to hold their positions right now. Actually, OKX above there as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exchanges above the threshold, and this has been creeping over time now, and it is still a bit concerning to myself, sort of judging the next sort of medium-term time frame pullback region, which at the current context of price action, I mean that could easily be $5,000 move, as that would only be about a 10% move from where we are right now, which for Bitcoin is not really. I mean that is a move. Obviously 10% move is always a 10% move, but in the context of the way of where Bitcoin plays out its market cycles, that is your traditional medium-term pullback-ish region. Anyways, moving onwards and forwards, do we see anything else that is out of the ordinary here that would be giving any major signals? Bitcoin dominance starting to flatten out. Do we have a reversal in progress there? I do think that we have a little bit of upside there at the very least, so we'll check on that as well today. I need to take a sippy sip of this water, man. Man, my damn prediction mouth is not working too well right now. Hold on, let's give this a go. Alrighty, sippy sip down, good for another 1,000 miles, and yeah, we do see the global funding rate well above actually, and more importantly, starting to trend above, in fact. So that is rather interesting. Anyways, with that in mind, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the actual price action charts themselves. And do I have... I'm not logged in. God damn it. I'm not logged in. What the hell is going on over here? All right, let's get this going on right there. Let's get my alerts right here. Okay, yes. Obviously, that is going to get hit off. And let's go to the actual price action charts themselves. Okay, start off with our training charts right here, of which always want to reflect upon what we had on the next weekly open, of which that did close above the top side Toronto band alongside CMEs as well. So again, this was more or less for formality that was setting into the bias that this coming week, Bitcoin very likely does make new all-time highs towards our next short-term, medium-term targets. That would be 51,500 and into the deeper $50,000 region, respectively. And as you can see, that is, well, exactly as predicted. Just kidding. Although it is starting to get eerily fun to say, so I will say, give it a go, give it a try at home. Anyways, yes, still looking at the two spot extension right here at 51,500 for that next sort of short-term target as Bitcoin does crawl its way above above our resolution points from the short-term timeframes yesterday. But again, I do want to focus on the higher-term timeframes while we are here for now. What I do want to also denote is the 2-day, which I believe is closing today. Yes, indeed it is. No, indeed it is not. This is a fresh one. It's a little fresh one. So it must be the 3-day that's closing today then. No, that one's also not closing as well. What in the actual hell? How am I so off of my timing today? This is rather embarrassing. But overall, what I would have been looking for is a closure above the top side Toronto band today. To denote continuation, that would have been about 50,000 bucks. Yeah, just below 50,000 bucks right there. So that will play into tomorrow's analysis, obviously. But being that it has about 36 hours from now to close, well, not really all that relevant for today's analysis, I suppose. Daily topside, however, is all the way at 53,000 bucks. So we'll be looking at 53,000 bucks as a nice little kind of zone here between the measure move on, it's actually not a measure move off of this formation right here, but the lower one, although I don't even have it in right now. But what I would be looking at is a 2-spot extension right here, and that region to kind of produce a little bit of a liquid zone for any sort of move into that region for a short-term pullback within this region. And of course, is this financial advice? Am I a financial advisor? Absolutely not. Would I be taking this trade? No, I would not be taking this trade. This is more or less, for short-term scalpers who are playing the short-term breakout and looking for a little bit of a short-term stop and go point. Anyways, with that in mind, I do want to reflect upon all of the momentum oscillators down here. We do see that MACD has actually been lessening its grip throughout this whole extension phase, which is just a stair-stepping motion right here. Now, with that in mind, we will start to continue to rise above 48,160, which I think is rather interesting because Bitcoin is, well, healthy about a little bit more than $1,000 above that level right now. So that would start to increase momentum once again as Bitcoin does essentially, have trend continuation. Alongside that, we do have a very much primed ADX DMI signal right here, where both the ADX and the DMI are in a position to, well, if we get positive slopes on both, that would be a damn good signal that Bitcoin is going to very likely make a leg up towards that 51,500-ish region, towards the top side of that area as well, which is actually just under 53. Hold on, let's bring this down. More like 52,500-ish region. So that would be, let's call it about $1,000 region right there, a little bit more than $1,000 region right there. But overall, my point is that if we got a signal like that, that would likely lead into the next breakout, which is probably going to be better gotten by the 2-day right here, and that's going to drive targets even higher towards the 618 and the 414 respectively. Well, actually no, backwards there. But what I mean to say is that I'd still be looking at that $56,000 to $58,000 region for the next sort of medium term trade, and I would be cognizant of the 3-spot extension all the way up at 62,000 bucks around here as well, as that does seem to accumulate a lot of wicks in more aggressive and violent markets, with a basing point typically at the 618 in these sort of continuation phases. So with all of that in mind, I do still like this chart. I am still bullish, I guess, on all time frames. Let's actually go to the lower term time frames right now and follow up on yesterday's short term time frame analysis, as once again we did, hey, this chart did not save, but it should have been like this right here. Once again, we did close above the resolution point if you are looking at this as an ascending triangle. Now, I don't think that this chart right here is actually the most obvious one. I think that CME chart is a lot more obvious. As you can see, we didn't really have like a breakage of structure until right now, actually, is the potential. And that will be confirmed in about 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 14 seconds with any sort of a closure above 49,130. Now, for reference, CME is currently trading at about 49,000, almost 800. So it does have a nice little buffer zone right there. But an hour and 38 minutes is a goddamn eternity in trading land. But as it stands right now, when we came back to this chart, over the late day wrap up yesterday, we did say, hey, during the morning video, there wasn't like really anything too obvious kind of sticking out like a sore thumb right here. But what does start to become obvious once we got into the late day wrap up and looked at CME is that yes, we do have one, two, three, four drives of hidden bullish divergence right here as Bitcoin does approach the top side of the range, as we do see the 4-hour RSI get into the back into the bullish control zone, as it does trend back above the exponential, as we do see 4-hour Stochastic Momentum Index also cross the upside as well, and now we are getting the pattern break as well off of a reaccumulation formation, which is that ascending triangle, which does have a greater percentage probability to actually break out to the upside. In this case right here, we can make a measured move to the upside, and that would be pointed up towards about 53,600. Now, keep in mind that 53,600 is going to be on CME, which does have a premium over spot price action of about let's call it 600 to 700 bucks as it is right now. Well, if we were to kind of apply that to spot price action, where would that put Bitcoin at? Well, would it put Bitcoin at this next sort of top side of that daily, what I'm kind of postulating as a likely liquid zone right here, and that just means that a lot of bots and algos going to be scalping this region right here, just below 53,000 bucks. Yeah, probably yes. So with that in mind, yes, things do look more or less good here. If I've, if I had to call right now, I would say that this is showing a lot more signals of an upside breakout, and that was becoming a lot more apparent on yesterday's late day wrap-up video. Now I'd say that this is, I look at this as formality right here. This is a very, 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 very good setup, especially as we did see historical volatility percentile decline the whole way through. If we do see that start to turn up alongside a break of structure, there you go. You have like basically everything that you're looking for is trend, momentum, moving average supports as well. We see also more long-term based momentum also is over here, and then we also see volatility alongside and supporting that. So all of that and more plus pattern as well, looking good. And it's like no matter which sort of school of thought you're coming from, it's like you got some you got some sort of ball in your court. I need to take another sip of this water, man. This is insane. I'm like getting incredibly cotton mouth right now. Okay, there we go. A little sippy sip, good for another 5 minutes, I guess. Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyways, let's work our way through all the lower term timeframes. See if they agree with each other, just in case. Sometimes you do see a little bit of bifurcation, and that can be a bit of a counter signal in this case. But 3 hour, no, we do not. Basically same chart, momentum. RSI and volatility, and we're actually technically already breaking out above there right now. Now, to be fair, this is, is that breakout volume? Absolutely not. We do see that this is still kind of following the same sort of regression right here. But if you are looking at this as a, as a signature for formation, which I would argue that it very much is, then we are at what is traditionally kind of like the breakout period. As this area, when you get about 75% full within this region, is incredibly likely to break out. Statistically speaking, that's when you start to that's when you typically start to see things like actually move in that direction. If that formation actually is going to play, it's usually a damn good warning signal if it stays in there longer or shorter than something like that. So in this case right here, everything kind of playing nicely, and let's move on to the buy hourly. Same shit, already kind of breaking out above it as well. Not volume supported just yet, but open interest supported and momentum oscillators all look nice and healthy here. And hourly is obviously going to already be above there, and basically same shit. Hourly is very, very constructive on hourly RSI right here. So all of that looks good to me, and I would be looking for a continuation of the upside here with the targeted regions in mind of about 51.5 to about 50, just below 53,000 bucks for a short-term stop off. Now, do I think that things ultimately stop there like for forever? Very unlikely, no. I would still be looking towards those deeper targets probably over the next few weeks towards the $58,000 region with a critical highlight of 62,000, just for some quick spikes within that region. But ultimately, I would like to see some sort of a long form consolidation within a region like that, preferably on a weekly, as we really have not really had one of those. I'm sure that someone will say this one right here. I mean, not really on this one right here. I mean, the correction was basically done within 2 weeks. It's not much. We're really looking for something that takes a little bit more time than that. A few months would be pretty damn good, as we have seen in the past. Let's just go back to some more obvious ones. Yeah, like this one right here takes about, it looks like 3-4 months perhaps. This one over here, a few months as well. This one about a year, so that's too long. But this one over here, from top to turnaround, closing on new highs. This was another few months as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking for the next like major phase. And for long-term traders, which I'm actually kind of transferring into myself, which is actually rather weird because I've always been quite averse to it throughout my whole career. We'll probably be interested in, in that sort of a situation when Bitcoin bases out once again. So with that in mind, that's going to be very likely the next big opportunity for me, as I am trying to focus more on medium and higher term time frame trading strategies, mostly motivated by moving averages in this case. And for right now, it's just been, all they say on the higher term time frames is hot, it's hold. So with all of that in mind, things are still looking more or less fine here. And let's move into the medium term time frames, as we do see hidden bullish divergence on the 12-hour, now a possibility with the next tick. Would I say that that's already confirmed? Yeah, no, it is not already confirmed. So Caretaker is getting that one very, very much right. How the fuck does that magic work? I don't know. Doesn't matter. It works. Sometimes I think I found one situation last weekend where I was like, okay, this one is not correct. But other than that, looking pretty damn good. Anyways, looking at this right here, what do we see? So we do see that this next drive is going to potentially confirm this as a higher low. If this gets confirmed as a higher low, which would be confirmed with any sort of a closure, especially no questions asked, above last 12-hour high, which is about 48,800 ish region. So we're about $300 above that right now, with, to be fair, about 6.5 hours to go to closure. So a lot can happen right there. But if that condition is met, then yes, that will confirm this as a local low, which would include 1, 2, 3 drives of hidden bullish divergence, 1, 2, 3 drives right here off of a reaccumulation formation, while momentum remains or would cross back onto the upside above $50,000 or 49,800 ish region. Oh, that's going to be a little bit more lagging. So maybe I need to switch back to my regular Stokes here, but with all of that in mind, that'll look pretty damn good for another continuation drive. And again, I would be looking for 12-hour RSI to very likely make a move all the way to the top side of the critical zone there, and then likely play out a pullback from there. Now, how high does Bitcoin price action get after that? Who the fuck knows? Doesn't matter, but that would be something that I'd be looking for. Again, assuming that condition is met, which I'll say it right now. I do think that is more or less for formality. I do think that is going to happen unless if we don't see it on CMEs, and we actually don't see it on CMEs, which is rather interesting here. Do we see it on the 4? Yeah, of course we see it on the 4 hour. What's the highest term time frame that we see it go up till then? 6 hour has it. What about okay, well, 6 hour barely has it, because that would be your last higher low right there. This isn't even getting counted as a low, and that is correct as well. So yes, we just don't have enough information for these time frames. 10 hour would have it as well, or would it? Let's see, we got 69.25 right there versus 69.65 right there. No, we would not. Very interesting. Okay, yeah. So the medium term timeframes on CMEs just don't have enough. They just don't. I mean, it's just continuation right here is what it looks like. Anyways, okay, all right. 12-hour on CME, still momentum high as long as above 65,500. I mean, 12-hour RSI, while it doesn't necessarily have that same hidden bullish divergence here, it still is a very good read here. But I don't see anything, but technically speaking, there is no divergences to be spoken about. Daily, same shit, basically. I think actually the spot price action daily is a little more obvious right here. You do see a consolidation right above the exponential. It's getting reaccumulated with some higher lows on there too. And yes, you kind of can read this as a bit of a line chart, and within the current context of price action is that as we are trading to the upside, it looks fucking good while momentum remains the upside as well. All these things considered with each other. It is fucking crazy to me right now that Bitcoin is just ripping $200 in what is about a 2 to 3 minute dildo right there. And it's nothing. It's a whole lot of nothing. I mean, that's insane. There's so much opportunity in the lower term time frames. Maybe I should bring back my scalp account. And, but I'm having so much fun already. Anyways, let's move on and check out to Mr. Buterol. Let's see what he's doing today. Oh, by the way, also I'll also upload my long-term analysis from Saturday and Sunday in a more refined format in a very specific video that goes over next market highs and next market lows, and also something that you can actually potentially use to time it as well. Which is going to be pretty fucking cool, but I do want to make sure that I get all my ducks in the row. It's going to be a big video directly dedicated on that, and for right now, I would just point you back towards those videos if you want the more in-depth information on that one. However, for this next one, I might wait another day to actually put it all together, mostly because I've got a little surprise in there, which I'm really excited about. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, let's get on over to Miss Buterol. Where is he? Where are you? Where is she? Who is she? Who is it? And yes, here we go, right? Here we go. Let's start off with the daily. Actually, let's go to our secondary charts over here. Let's see what we got. Where's my beta rolls? I imagine it's going to be more or less bullish as well. And what did we get? We got a major opportunity yesterday, back down to the 20 simple. Not bad at all. But was this only on this exchange, or was this on other exchanges as well? That seems a little bit exaggerated. Let's see. No, it was on multiple exchanges. All major moving averages bullish right there. However, what do we see right here? Daily MACD actually having a cross to the downside. Now, this is actually a really, 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 really good one to kind of reflect upon for a second here. So you actually are seeing a bearish cross on the daily MACD. So sell, right? Sell, bad? It's bad. It's very bad. So this is actually your classic non-signal right here. And a lot of people get this wrong, and a lot of people use the MACD completely fucking wrong in the most basic sense. When you see a cross to the downside, but no major structure has been broken and no major movement averages in this case have been broken either, which is kind of just a cheat way of kind of seeing where those levels would be, then that is not an effective cross in and of itself. We need to see an actual break structure here, which in this case, would that be breaking the 9x moving average on a daily total closure? Well, you'd probably want to see an open and closure below that region, or a closure below the 20 simple. If one of those two things happen, that would look very fucking bad, and your target would be somewhere down around here at your last major level at about $1,400. That is a very major move right here, as that would be about a 22% move from top to bottom, to be fair. On top of that, we don't see momentum really picking up on either side right now. DMI plus and DMI minus are both not dominant, and ADX is not even strengthening. So we don't really see anything that's actionable from that. And if I did have to call it right now, I do think that this is going to be turned into a bit of a fake out right there for the people who do trade the MACD very unsophisticatedly, we'll call it. I mean, it's usually one of the first indicators that people learn, and because you think it's easy, right? But it's not, and there's actually more to it, and that's one of the big misconceptions with it. I can give you an example right here. Or would it be, well, I mean, basically this whole segment right here, you see a bearish cross right here, and it just goes the upside, right? No breakage of structure. Then it actually does come down. On this cross to the downside right here, it actually does break those levels, but no follow through. Why no follow through? Look at the trend. The trend was not broken on breaking these moving averages right here. So really nothing actually was kind of reverted within that situation. So with all of that in mind, and you can all see the DMI plus and DMI minus both not even giving off signals either, there was no threat of real continuation on top of that, at least in the posture that we saw right there, which is quite obvious in hindsight. Duh, but you're very likely to see it right here once again. I would not be surprised at all. In fact, what I suspect, what you'll likely see is you actually see the histogram on this probably create some sort of divergence right here, probably some hidden bullish divergence over the next few days. And if it does, well, that would be your next major fucking signal, just glaring in your face that this thing is very likely to pop back up and break out and run for that $2,000 plus region. By the way, guess where the topside Toronto band is today? $2,000. So that would be a nice little short-term sell-off target if Ethereum did take a leg up and go take a stab at it. Moving on to our charts over here, we do see that from a momentum oscillator's perspective, this is more or less healthy. This is a very fucking good read on daily RSI right now. The chart itself, maybe not as obvious. However, I would say that daily RSI plus Stoke Momentum Index right here, both look good to me. Now you're probably saying, but Krown, why would that look good? It's crossing down right now. Look, it's going to cross back onto the upside above 1827, which would essentially be closing on. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't even be closing on new all-time highs. Now let's go down the low-term time frames right here and see if there's anything even more obvious on this. Yes, there is. That's rather interesting. Hidden bullish divergence off the lows right there. So is it likely to pop back up and rise above 1825ish region? Well, actually, your target off the 4 hour would be 1850 to 1860. So yes, I would say that it would. Now, of course, we want to see this on a closure, but one thing before the next, and you can follow the 4 hour before then. And what do you see right here? Nice and up and at 'em. Not bad at all. So with all of that in mind, on increasing historical volatility percentile, I would say that the lower term timeframes are suggesting a move back on to test the top side of the range, anywhere around like 1860, we'll call it. And the daily, if closes above that next level, would very likely lead into a breakout. And your next, short-term target would be 2,000 for that nice psychological round even number. But do I think that things would stop there? It's very similar to Bitcoin at 51,500. No, I don't think so. I do think that would be a short-term sell-off. However, the next targets are still very much viable. If I can have where's my damn targets here? Where's those fucking targets, Krown? Give me those targets, Krown. Got some more of those targets, Krown. Anywhere around the 272 to the 618 in this case, and that would be, the 272 and 618, that would be 22 to 2400-ish region is where we'd be looking towards, actually. And that's actually the 3 spot 272 and the 3 spot 618 right there. So yeah, $200 range, 22 to 24-ish region. That's where I'd be looking for on the next like major drive. So yeah, there we go. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, what else do you want to check out? We are already 24 minutes into this bitch, and that is 24 minutes way too goddamn long. Let's go check out traditional markets. Are they making new all-time highs? Oh, that's fucking weird. They're making new all-time highs. Just as we predicted. We predicted it. I predicted it, but I didn't make a fucking trade on it because I don't trade traditional markets. So what does that mean? It means I got a big old thumb up my bunghole because it doesn't count for fucking anything. I always think it's funny when like people want to call out their predictions, but no trades. But yeah, so we predicted it and we get nothing for it. Just silly social prizes that mean absolutely nothing. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Probably my favorite saying from Texas, I think. Great saying, actually. Really great fucking saying. But basically, the saying boils down to like play stupid social games that have no actual tangible consequence that is financially good for you, and instead give up the financial consequences in turn for, I guess, a validation in some cases. Anyways, we're getting a little bit too philosophical in this morning hour right now. Yes, I'd still be overall bullish on this. There's nothing bearish about this chart at all whatsoever. Short term could have another move back down and test the bottom side of that last little breaker right there at 13,825. Yeah, could do that. However, this is I would say that the upside is rather likely from here. 4-hour hidden bullish evidence as well, back in the bullish control zone. 4-hour Stokes up. 4-hour historical volatility percentile starting to. Oh, are we starting to expand? Maybe not necessarily just yet. I want to see that get a positive slope for a consistent few bars there. Let's see what the daily looks like as well. Daily is just continuation, not even registering right there. We even see the 10 symbol fucking chasing right now. I mean, too, that's pretty damn strong. We even get a closure above the 2 spot 618. That prediction target from last week or the last couple weeks get closed above as well in the daily. So yes, next overhead target is going to be somewhere around 14,252. Not today probably, but over time, probably over this next month or two. And then ultimately, I keep my eyes on the $15,000 level. It is a nice round psychological even number, and it is also a really big fib extension right there. Now, fib extensions aren't as good in traditional markets in my experience, but they do get the general move. But you see a lot of spiky behavior because once price action gets to those areas, my sort of theory is that the bots and algos do their duties, and then we see like actual fucking distribution or accumulation. But in this case, it would be distribution, and of course that's gonna that's gonna be a little more violent and not gonna play off those numbers as nicely. But it's typically around those regions, what I find, typically around. Anyways, I imagine we're gonna see the same shit on SPY as well. Oh, what do you know? The same fucking shit. That's crazy. It's almost as if we're looking at the same goddamn chart right here. Again, just generally bullish here. Generally bullish. I don't really see anything that's stopping price action from here in about a bit over $4,000. That'd be my next short-term, maybe not short-term, but medium-term sort of area. So again, playing out the hidden bullish divergence from our call last, I guess this was a couple weeks ago, but still kind of playing itself out, I suppose. Looking pretty damn good, and will remain to the upside or remain north side angled as long as we are above 38.21 right there. So looking good all around. Again, I don't really have like a time frame for these targets. I don't think that it can really be done. Although I am going to show you a way that I think that you can maybe time the next Bitcoin top, and that's actually what I'm holding off on for now. Okay, all right. Do we want to look at anything else? Probably not. No. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance really quickly here, and then we'll look at caretaker ranges. But I suspect they're going to be confirming what we already know. Weekly. Yeah, I still look at this as likely a bottoming area. I know that a death cross is going to be coming here, yes. But what I highly suspect you're going to see is you're going to see another drive to the downside somewhere around just below 61% region. And that's going to put in a third drive of bullish divergence. If that happens, that's going to be your classic 3 drives reversal. And I'd be targeting to move a big move to the upside, and that probably comes alongside a Bitcoin breakout towards $60,000, give or take a bit. This daily RSI is really starting to show a lot of signs of bottoming here. I think I'm going to start to turn around to be really mega bullish on Bitcoin dominance once again, relatively soon, if not now. Yeah, this I do believe this over the next like few weeks is probably gonna have a nice move to the upside here. Now, of course, looking at the monthly, I don't think that upside move does get sustained, but it could very easily test back up towards the upper 60% regions. And it's going to put a lot of downwards pressure on altcoin versus Bitcoin pairings. Let's go check out Ethereum Bitcoin right here. Yeah, again, this thing could easily come down to like 3.3 million. See what the daily looks like right now. Yeah, daily's downside angled as well. It is going to be looking for a bounce relatively soon, but do we get another leg down to like 3.45 million first? Likely yes. I want to see what Link's doing here too. That one also seems to be one of the more interesting ones. That is not a chart that I'd like to analysize. Actually, weekly looks bullish here, to be fair. Does look like a bit of reaccumulation, but I don't feel as confident on this. Okay, that's enough altcoins. All right. Hey, that was fun. Yeah. let's get the fuck out of here. Let's see. Okay, so 4 hour getting the top side of our current range pretty much perfectly right there. Getting that tick to, what is it, 50,250. Not bad. This is showing that we have a bull zone consolidation right here, so good. Momentum is underneath us, so is good as well. Suggesting further continuation. What about the hourly? However, basically same shit, but would suggest that we haven't necessarily broken out just yet, which I do think is supported by both volatility and volume thus far. So I do think a little bit more waiting here still, but overall, this is starting to this is moving in the right direction. Let's see what the 12 hour says. 12 hours targets much higher. What about daily? Now, this would be speaking towards a greater formation, and guess what? It basically has the same sort of targets that I was suggesting earlier. 62,000 high versus 56,000, but that will expand naturally as price action does expand as well. So with all of that in mind, I do think that does further verify the more long-term time frame targets there. If Bitcoin gets going above 51,500-ish region. So let's wrap this bitch up and then send you off on your merry way. Okay, let me see. How do I want to do this first and foremost? Yeah, let's focus back on here. Let's go over here to our trending charts, and we'll start off with this. As always, want to reflect upon the important things, we'll call it. Okay. So as always, want to reflect upon the weekly closure of which we got on Sunday, and that was once again closing above the top side Toronto band. So that to me does say that trending is in motion, just like we saw back and over here starting in October on that whole run from about $13,000 to 40,000 bucks right here. As you can see, not bad. Once again, we are getting that same sort of signature supported by our momentum oscillator corollaries, of which weekly MACD continues to increase on the histogram. To me, that is suggesting that this is supported not just by volatility, but also by momentum. And then DMI, ADX. Technically speaking, the DMI plus is dominant, but I do want to see it get a positive slope here. ADX is obviously strengthening, so that is good as well. So all of those look good to me. If we do get down to a daily, I would be looking at the top side Toronto band to kind of judge more short-term targets if Bitcoin does want to take a leg up right here. And as you can see, it is showing right around about 53,000 bucks, which is rather interesting because that is around our next Fibonacci extension, which would be the 2 spot right here at about 51,500-ish region. Now, to be fair, that does create a bit of a zone, but I do think that zone is relevant for short-term, maybe medium-term traders right there. As if Bitcoin does spike into this region, I would be looking for initial pullback. However, higher-term timeframes are still more or less in a breakout posturing, so I do not think that would be like the high of this next run. To be fair. It's a little bit of a moon boy time right now, although I shudder to say that word. Anyways, going into our short-term timeframes over here, I do think that CME is once again the key critical ingredient, the one chart to rule them all, the most important chart, and the most obvious chart right now as well. We did identify this yesterday at the late day wrap-up, of which 1, 2, 3 drives of hidden bullish divergence on the 4 hour right here, as momentum is starting to turn up once again and will remain to the upside as long as Bitcoin on CME is above 48,500-ish region. Currently speaking, it is 49,750, just for reference, and we do see that is going to be coming off of this whole formation on declining historic volatility percentile. Now what we'd expect to see as Bitcoin does put in and essentially complete the ascending triangle, that we'd want to see this start to actually boost up once again alongside 4 hour RSI continuing to the upside and momentum, and obviously price action closing above this region as well. If that is completed, then we do have a measured move based off the ascending triangle, which is a reaccumulation formation, and that would be right around about 53,500-ish region, which with the premium over spot price action, which is about 500 to 600 bucks, somewhere around there, or actually in some cases a little bit more, depends when you're kind of taking it. but that would put spot price action around that $53,000 region. So that would get the same sort of topside spiky territory right here, which I'm kind of postulating as a short-term liquid zone for a little bit of a short-term play. Would I be taking this myself? Absolutely fucking not. I am actually mostly focused on medium and higher term timeframes at this point, and it's actually quite nice, I should say. It's actually quite nice. If you haven't tried it before, you might find it easier on the soul. Anyways, as far as everything else goes, we do see that daily on spot price action and 12-hour on spot price action are putting in some hidden bullish divergence. Actually, sorry, let me confirm that on daily. No, actually, sorry, we are not, but it is reaccumulation on the daily RSI as well. 12-hour does have potential to confirm this. If that happens, or sorry, that will happen, that will be confirmed, especially with any sort of a closure above last 12-hour high. That's 48,825, which currently we are a clean few $100 above. And if that is confirmed, then that will confirm hidden bullish divergence. Do I think that this is more or less formality? Yes, I do. And that would imply a target very likely to the edge of the bullish control zone right there, which in the current context of this trending to the upside motion would imply that, yes, Bitcoin does gun for that 51,500-ish region to $53,000 region. However, I would be looking for a very likely continuation after a short-term sell-off from that region. And then we'll come back either later today or tomorrow and see where we're at. When does this move actually play out? I'd be using the lower term timeframes HVP to kind of time this one. And in this case right here, we do see, actually it was the 4-hour that I think is the most dependable one. We do see that the 4-hour is starting to get into an expansion posturing. We got all the way down to single digits for a couple days in a row right there. Now actually lifting off from that region, I want to see the slope of the moving average here get a positive slope. And if that does happen, that'd be a damn good signal that we are going to be in motion once again. So with all of that in mind, I do want to wish you the best and the happiest. Also, I should talk about downside resolution points as well. It is do need to be thorough here just in case. But if you are looking at this as an ascending triangle, that sort of case would be destroyed with any sort of move down below $47,000. A closure below there obviously would imply a short-term move, another few $1,000 lower towards 44,300-ish region. This is where the medium-term time frame bias has changed. So it's not just short-term, it's also medium-term, and that would imply another $4,000, $5,000 move to the downside to $39,000 to $40,000 region, of which I would be looking for a bounce there. Am I looking for this to happen? No. Do I think it's important to talk about the plan for what happens if shit goes wrong? Yeah, of course. And in this case right here, biases the upside, of course. However, those would be my two big red flags leading to potentially even a major reversal. Anyways, with that said, I do want to wish you the best. I'll be back on later with the late day wrap up. Take care, and until next time.